how often do you see someone and think like that's a hard person to roast, and what do you think is like a common thread between those people?
Hard people to roast are usually people who don't. I mean, like easy targets, right? Are obviously race, weight, height, appearance, right? Like facial or otherwise. And if they don't really have those things, like white guys are hard. Like just boring white guys who don't really have like an addiction problem or any history with their family, like abuse or like, things like that. Guys who don't really give up those things either are tough. Because surface level roasting is boring now, right? Because everybody's been so much more specific because of all the Comedy Central roasts, the roast battles, all the roasting style shows they've had out there at this point. And just like basic level, just street jokes or your mama jokes are the most boring, and then the hardest guys to roast I've seen through the roast battle are just like the skinny, not skinny, but just like the average looking white male. Like Toby Morishino is probably tough to battle.
Yes, I've got a leg up then, but I also have a
Yeah,
mohawk, so I kind of look like a mass shooter. So
right. I mean, yeah, mash. Yeah. Guys like the average or straight white male usually it's like they look like like an active shooter, school shooter, theater shooter. Yeah, your average everyday shooter, active, and then or a child molester. I mean, those are usually your most popular jokes you guys get.
yeah, for myself, I use mass shooting and fentanyl usually, and that gets a pop. That's like, I think what I exude.
Fentanyl's high right now, Brad. I'm
Yeah,
proud of you.
yeah. Um, but okay, here's another question. What do you think is like a common roast etiquette that people break? Like, do you see people kind of crossing weird lines by accident when they're trying to get into it?
Yeah, the lines that they cross are if somebody asks them not to say something, people always end up doing it. I feel like they're like, hey, well, you're not saying anything about my dead brother. Don't say anything about my father here. Don't say anything about my mother here.
Yeah.
And then people always kind of cross that line.
What about with like losing the crowd?
Oh, I mean, that's gonna happen.
Just for being too over the top or for
Yeah, no. I mean, that's kind of the risk you're taking. I think that's an assumed risk with the losing the crowd part. But it literally is like what happens is if somebody, like I remember like Pat Barker was going through a lot of miscarriage jokes before he had his son, and he never said it was off limits, but I think his wife was saying it right.
yeah.
A lot of battlers don't battle anymore because their significant other doesn't want to be brought up, or like Doug had a dead, Doug has a dead, Doug Fair has a dead brother, and he would always say like, "Hey, don't say this," and then people would always say something, and then he would be like, "Okay, well, I'm going to talk about your dead father," and then they would have a fight afterwards, being like, "Well, you said you wouldn't say anything." He's like, "I only said it because you said something," and that's usually what it is. It's like when somebody asks not to talk about a subject and that person talks about it. That's the line you don't cross
Okay.
because it has to be consensual.
Yeah. Um, all right. One last thing on roasting. What percentage do you think it is a comic's ability to write, and what percentage do you think it is just their delivery and their attitude in that setting?
It's wow, that's a great one. I think it's 50% attitude, 50% writing, just from what I've seen. But I'm not a battler. I think a battler would tell you it is about a lot about the writing and being confident in the writing. I mean, at that point, it is like just a performance or like stand up. And if you're not 100% comfortable with what you're saying, it's going to suck because if you're confident in what you're saying, win or lose, if the crowd doesn't react to it, because that's what you're banking on, you can stay in the moment and stay in the pocket, and that's when your attitude and then the performance shines of like, oh, everything rolls off this guy's back. But you're just confident in what you're saying. You're just like, I know that's fine. I can roll with anything this guy's going to say about me here, or this person's going to say about me there.
Yeah.
But that's I think that's the big thing. It's just you can't look hurt.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't take it personally because we agreed to this, so we can't take anything personally, and then just be confident in your writing, and that's really what it is. It's a joke writer showcase. So you're
Yeah.
showing people that you can really write short, succinct jokes about a subject, and if you can nail it, your performance should shine.